Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly interview, talk, wherever you want to call it. Hello, Eleni. How are you?
I'm good. Yema, thanks so much for inviting me again here onto these wonderful talks with you. I'm looking forward to today's topic.
Yeah. It's really nice to have you here and to see the both sides of the coin and to talk
Yeah,
about
it's been so
aspect.
interesting. I think we've
Yeah.
been really seeing how the psychology of business part that I'm bringing is always the other side of the coin when you're talking about marketing and how to approach your audience and your target group. It's like, how do they think? What do they need? And today is a really interesting subject because it's going to explain exactly that, how the marketing side of communication is very specific and very
hmm
distinct to the part that we talked about before, which was more general sort of psychology of communicating and getting your message out there online. So I'm looking forward to getting your answers on this and seeing the deeper aspects of marketing and all of it. So I wondered if you can also just think back, everybody, on last week's conversation about leadership, and we touched on so many different aspects of why self leadership is so important. And then, of course, if you run a group of people or an organization, you need to be reflecting on your own self-awareness all the time about how well that journey is going. So I hope you did the homework and I hope you got some really powerful insights from it. And today, maybe you can even transition your thinking into your way of communicating as a leader, both online and offline. And Yema, you're going to tell us, I think this is one of the most important questions anyone could ask a marketing expert like you, is a little bit about the difference, between communicating online and communicating offline. Why is it so important to keep in mind this difference and the differences between them?
Yeah. Well, to start, because of offline, when we are offline, we have all the communication in our body. It's not only the words you say, it's well, now we are seeing each other, we're online, but we are through a screen. So it's not the same. When you go, for example, to a networking event and you enter, you see the way the people walk, they are communicating. The
Yeah,
way the people, they interact with people, the way they introduce themselves, if they are smiling, if they go to a corner and they sit in a corner, they are communicating. If you don't say anything, you
yeah,
are communicating with your body. And only 7% of our communication are the words. The rest is body language and our voice. So when you are offline, you have all this information. And people, even they don't talk, if they don't say a word, they are communicating a lot. And for example, if you go to an event and you arrive and you say hello to everyone, only saying the word hello, you have an idea of how the person is because they arrive like friendly, hello, or they are like hello. You can feel the people. You can feel what kind of person it is, the clothes they are wearing, if they use makeup or not. You can feel a lot of the person without talking. But for example, if you go to LinkedIn, you have a new contact and you send a message and you only say hello, the people will be like, and now what is because it's completely different. You don't have all the other information. So when you communicate online, you have to pay a lot of attention to the word you use. You can be more natural offline than online because online you need of course to be yourself and to show the way you are, but you need to take more care about the words you use and how you say it because also you don't know how the people is feeling. When you are offline, you can see the other person. If you say something that makes mad the person, you can say, "Oh, I think you didn't understand what I mean, or I didn't explain myself properly," and you can feel the conversation. Online, you don't know any of this, so you say a sentence, and it depends how the other people is feeling at the moment of their life. Maybe they just break up with their couple, or maybe they just lose the job, or maybe they are having the best day of their life. So the same sentence they can interpret depending how they are feeling. So you need to pay attention a lot to your words and how you say it and what you say. So this is really important to say. This is the main difference. And even if you are online in the screen, not everyone is used to talking a screen. Most of the time, you see your own face. When you are offline, you don't see yourself. You see other people. But when you are online, you see your face. And some people feel really uncomfortable with that. So you need to also notice that and to know that the other people can be reacting different or can be talking different and they can have a not too nice way of communicating just because they are seeing themselves and they don't like it. So this is the main
Wow.
thing that we need to take into account because it's new. We are communicating online 20, 25 years before it didn't exist. So we still need to learn.
Yes, and so many people are uh, unaware of the way they will feel also when they
True.
are communicating online in person, I mean, on a screen or something, until they feel, oh my God, all these people are watching, but it's online, and
Yes.
sometimes I think it's great that you explained that reaction.
Yes.
Sometimes the way they're presenting has got to do with their feelings around being
Yes.
so uncomfortable with the technology or
True.
just the whole weirdness of the whole format. These are things we haven't spoken at all about. People don't talk about it, but it's so true. We've only, been doing this for 25 years, so it's obvious that a lot of people will be very confused about how
Yeah.
to deliver. And then you said something so important. I think I want to just highlight it and agree with you, and also say how it's helpful to understand it from that direction where you can see all the body language, the physical
Hmm.
communication as a way of reading that person. And so now when it comes to marketing yourself online or presenting even your website copy, you've
Hmm.
explained really well how it makes such a difference for you to be clear and careful and considered about how you're going to communicate what it is you're really trying to say, because you don't have all those natural means of letting people have a feeling of you. So
Yeah.
you've got to find a way to do it in your communication. And I think it's a real art. I mean, I watch people how they build strategy. It's really, amazing to watch people that are very skilled do that and do it so well, to communicate so well the brand or the idea of a certain service or product to the audience, and to do that really well. So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
There's
And
so many.
also, and also another thing that people feel really uncomfortable that I talk with people and they don't like it is when they know they are live and it's a video and it's going to be recorded. People feel really bad because it's not the same if you are just talking and whatever you say is say, or if it's recorded. They feel
Yeah,
more stressed.
exactly. And I think you have to have your own um, judgment of how well you feel you communicate or how
Hmm.
well you
True.
feel you present. And that gives you a certain kind of confidence or a certain kind of anxiety. So you
True.
always kind of have to measure out, like you're saying, what that person is offering you, depending on how confident they feel all the time about
True.
being online or communicating online. So there's so many. I mean, as we're talking, so many challenges. If
True.
we look at the challenges of offline and the challenges of online, what would you say are three big challenges online and three big challenges offline?
Well, offline, the challenges is also you need to know your audience. It's really important. This is a challenge online and offline. It's always important to know your audience because you cannot talk the same way. If some, for example, if you are a speaker in an event and you have kids from a school, you cannot talk the same way that if you have people from a business or if you have a teenagers. But if we are talking really general. But when it's offline, at least if you don't know your audience, when you arrive, you can see and you can feel if they are understanding what you say and you can adapt your way of communicating. And I think this is the biggest challenge. And online, this is a challenge too, because some people say, no, my product is for people in their 30s. But what kind of people in the 30s? Because there are many kinds of people. So you need to define really good who your audience is. You need to define the buyer persona, who you are going to talk to. Because people think, most of the time, that people think that their product is for everyone, their talk is for everyone. But inside the same category, to say it some way, there are many differences. Because you can be 30 and I can be 30, but we can be 30. But for example, if you talk to people in Spain or you talk to people in Cyprus or the Netherlands, the people with 30 years old is completely different way of communicating. But if you talk to people in business, in an office, consultants, the way of communicating is going to be completely different if you go to talk to, I don't know, owners of restaurants or to waiters or to people that doesn't have a job or to people that is studying that they are not working. So the way of communicating, the way of living is completely different. The economical status also is different. You don't communicate the same to people that is millionaire that the people that is doesn't have a job and they are having a really bad moment. So you need to really good define what kind of people is. Like for example, woman. If you are a woman, it's not the same. If you are 30 married with 4 kids, than if you are 30 and you are not married and you don't even have a boyfriend. So the kind of life, the kind of way of seeing life is completely different. So when you communicate online, you need to have all these aspects really well defined. Otherwise, you are not going to get the attention of the people that you want.
So it's so important to know the niche target
Yeah.
audience so
Yes.
that you can improve the way you're communicating. That's
Yes.
that's the reason why you have to have such a strong niche, is
Yes.
because it helps you to communicate much better to
Yeah,
those
and
people.
also to use the same words they use. Because when I tell like the same example, if you work with a CEO in a company, the kind of words they use to communicate and to search online to find you is not the same that if you talk to a waiter. And it's not that one is better than the other, it's that this is completely different. So you want to reach one person online, you need to talk the way they understand and the way they will search. Because if they are looking for something online, they will search using the words they use to talk. So you
So
need
how,
to really know it. And
yeah,
this
and
is one challenge.
yeah, so there's lots. I mean, going deeper into that, and maybe also my next question, but if we can also broaden it even.
Yeah.
How do we know? Like, how do we know that we're communicating correctly to those people? And let me give an example. Let's say I want to communicate to CEOs of
Yeah.
companies. Is it fair to say that all marketing experts will know that? Obviously, if they've had the experience writing copies, working for another client that also sells to CEOs, they'll be very clever about what the CEO needs to hear, right? So my question to you is, as solo entrepreneurs or as business owners or as leaders of companies, how do we know who to trust in the marketing world, first of all,
Mhm.
uh, in order to make the communication that we're going to have with a potential client optimal, the best possible conversation we can have? And how do we know that it's successful enough? Obviously, by the
Yeah.
sales, that the person is obviously buying the product or service and they really get value from what they get from us, yes. But how can we know? Who do we trust?
Yeah, well, it's difficult for me to say who you can trust, but what I can tell you is when you want to hire someone to do marketing online and you tell them, okay, I want to talk to 30 years old and they start posting in social media, be careful because first marketing is research. A lot of the part of the marketing, I can say more than 50% of the marketing is research. You need to know your customer, you need to know really good the company, you need to know the personality of the company to communicate in one strong way. You need to do research to see how your target behave, what problems do they have, how they are, what do they need, and how do they communicate online. So you need to do a lot of research to define really good to who you are talking, how do they talk, because once you know the persons that you are targeting, if you are a marketer like I am, I don't know all the areas, I don't know all the people, all the work. So if your product is medical, I don't know that your target. So I need to study and to do research and to learn. So the people that they say that they do marketing and you contact them and they start posting next week, they know maybe social media and they know how to make a post, but who are they talking to? Do they
I
know?
agree with you. That's such an
So
important piece of
but
advice you
but
just.
the thing is also there are some people in marketing they are experts in medicine, for example. So you hire these people, maybe they should know the target and they can do it fast because they are specialized in only doing marketing for medical people. Or if they are in tech companies, they are more specific for this. But when you are doing marketing in general and strategy, and you want to go deep and do it more personal and go to more to their own target, you need to do research, and this takes time. So
And
this is one thing that you can see.
so the research is one way to know.
Yeah.
Is there any other tip you can give us? Like, how do we know that we are reaching the right people and we've got the right communication strategy? One is that whoever you hire, you hope that they can start with research, and that would show you that they're doing some deep study
Hmm.
investigation into
Yeah, this
your
is
market.
important.
That's very good. And any other tips?
Well, you need to know also that when they start doing the marketing, when you finish the research and you start creating, you are not going to have results really fast because you need to create and to be there and to post everything and to create all the strategy and everything. And I can say maybe in 6 months you start seeing the results.
Right.
So also you need to, this is important to understand, because some people think that when you hire a marketer, you hire them and in 1 month you have results and you have everything, and it's like, no, it takes time. So this is one thing. And another challenge that most people have is that when they communicate online, they don't know how to react and how to answer. So you need to think that yes, you have on a screen, but it's not a filter. Some people see like a filter with the communication in the screen. So you need to be careful with that too, because sometimes people react really mad, but it's because they are mad for another thing. And you need
I
to
don't
know how
understand. Can
to,
you tell me again what you mean by
yeah,
reacting?
when I say, for example, you create a post and some people start arguing and complaining in the post, you cannot react like like having a fight with the people. You need
Of
to
course. Yeah.
to breathe, because sometimes the people I see in some posts the people is like fighting, but it's because they see like behind the screen is like they are protected. So you can never say anything that you wouldn't say to a person face to face. You cannot say it online. You need to breathe and say, okay, this person is mad, but I'm going to breathe and I'm going to react in a good way, in a good manner. And another thing that is not good to do, another challenge that many people is doing it wrong, is the people online, they don't reply the messages. When people talk to them, they don't reply. And this is not good, because it's like when you see someone face to face and they tell you hello, you say hello. And if they ask you something and you are not interested, you say, no, sorry, I'm not interested. So online is the same. And our brain see the social media communication when you send a message on LinkedIn or with WhatsApp or things like that. People see like if you are having a talk face to face. So our brain works like we are chatting with someone. So if you behave different and I talk to you and I tell you something and you don't reply, I'm going to feel that you are rude. And you are not
Of
doing
course.
it because you are rude. It's because you see it different because it's online. But our brain see like you are not replying to me. They see it bad. So we need to be careful with that and reply, because there is many people, for example, on LinkedIn, that they contact me. They want to be in my network and they send an invitation without any comment. And I accept it. And then I say, oh, hello, I'm happy to connect with you. And I see something about their profile and I don't get an answer back. And it's like, why are they connecting with me? He didn't even reply my message. And because I know that this happens, I don't take it personal. But if you are other person that you don't know about communication and marketing, maybe you don't want to have a working relation with these people just because they don't reply to your message. So we need to be careful with that.
There's so many tips in what you're saying. So let's try and explain them or put them in. Maybe even could be a great piece of homework, to really just start to go to your most popular platform, whatever it is, the one that you decided to work on, and actually start answering people that like your post, respond to them, people that comment, respond to them, make like a week kind of experiment of
Yeah, that would be
being
good.
really on it. Yeah, I know some people even hire VAs to respond to all
Yeah.
their potential leads or to really interact with the audience, because that group of community that you keep building up, they need interaction, and they also can get much more information about what people are needing from interacting with them. So I think that's a very helpful thing. So responding to all the messages, all the comments, all the points where people reach out to you, that's something you could be doing
Yeah.
to improve your communication. Then you talked about like negatively communicating is not okay online
No.
or offline. So try not to get pulled into people's drama or the theater of fighting and conflict on one of your posts. Rather just step back. I like that when you said breathe and respond with manners. Because then you set the professional tone of the whole
Yes.
discussion. I think when you're running a page or whatever, it's your responsibility to also kind of keep things calm. So if you
Yes.
do get involved, I think it can make it so messy. It's very hard sometimes. I mean,
Yeah, I
I remember
know.
doing a video once, and this guy wanted a full debate about everything I was saying, and then he wouldn't stop bullying on the comment feed until I agreed to do a live discussion with him on his page
Yes.
about what I was saying. and I felt so confused by what to do. He came to the next live and did the same. So it's really hard to hold the right professional stand, but
Yeah.
somehow we have to learn that. And then you also said something about being a lot more clear on who you are actually speaking to and getting
Yes.
people who can help you to do the research, to do the marketing properly, not just to be on social media with your posting. You need to know
Yeah.
very specifically what you're saying and who you're speaking to. Are there any other tips you want to give us?
Well, there are many things to keep into account, but I think this is the more important because it takes a lot of work to know exactly who you are talking to.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of work. And then just to be yourself. I know some people have many contacts, so then it's difficult to keep up and reply all the messages. It happened to me sometimes that I have messages that I don't see them because there are a lot and I
yeah,
just
I
miss
got
them.
that too.
But then, for example, when LinkedIn told me that it's the birthday, if I go to say happy birthday to the person and I see that I haven't replied because it can happen, so I say, oh, sorry. And I explain what happened to me, and then the people understand. So it's not, don't leave people just waiting for you. And even if you are not interested, sometimes people is selling, they contact you to sell, they say, thank you, but I'm not interested. And it
Yeah,
takes you 1 second, it's nothing.
yeah, on the receiving side, it's so good to mention that when somebody does come back to you
Yeah.
months later, it's also really nice because you feel,
Yes.
oh, look at that. They've actually like responded. I forgot about that person, and maybe there's a new project now
Yes, true.
or a new interaction we can have. Or maybe, if you just write it off and say, well, no, it's cool, don't worry, they now see you as someone that's very patient.
Yes.
And they actually remember you for a different reason to why they would have in the beginning as well. So it's almost like turning it into an opportunity and not
Yes.
not being stuck in that. So that's very helpful. What kind of homework do you think we should give people? What do you want us to practice to improve our
Well,
communication?
I think that the one of the good things will be yes to try to be yourself when you communicate online. When you talk
Yeah,
in the name of the company, try to follow the rules of the company. But when you communicate for yourself or you are an entrepreneur that you want to talk from your profile, be yourself, be polite, and reply to people. Talk to people.
excellent.
It's not nice when you want to connect with people and it's like you want just to connect and to have a big number of connections. Show people why you want to connect with them and talk to people and reply to people. And it will give
Excellent.
you a much better reputation and the people will trust you more because they can see that it's you, that is yourself, that you are your own person. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
this is a good thing to do.
very important what you just said, the reputation. I think that's what we're really talking about. The whole conversation is
Yes,
really about building a proper and honest and real, truthful
yes,
representation, reputation about you and your work online and offline in every moment that you're communicating, you're doing that. You're building a
yes.
reputation. So thanks again, Yama. Been very interesting conversation today. And I look
Thank you,
forward to
Lenny.
one of our last talks next week where we talk about the future of technology and
Yeah, really important also
how we can
to
all
wrap
manage.
up everything.
Yeah, to wrap it all up. Thank you for listening,
Yeah,
everybody. And thanks again, Yama, for
thank
this
you.
one.
Thank you, Lenny. It was a pleasure to be here with you again.
And
And
you too.
see you everyone next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.